Good morning. My name is Ted Clouser, host of Win the Minute, Win the Day, the show that focuses on bringing hope to the chaos. Today I am on location in Boston, Massachusetts with my friend Rich Spinelli. Rich is a man with a kind heart, warm smile, and someone I immediately connected with when I first met him a few years ago at a conference. We became what seemed like lifelong friends quickly during that time together. As CEO of a technology firm in Boston, a man who loves his family and celebrates his faith through serving, his schedule stays very busy, which is why I'm so fortunate to be able to borrow some time from him today. In fact, he is about to be part of the Global Mission Conference for his church that kicks off tomorrow. Rich has been involved at Park Street Church in Boston for over 15 years, serving in both the youth ministry and the divorce care ministry. He has been the project manager for PSC's City Engagement East Boston Food Pantry since its inception. Lastly, and as if that wasn't enough already, he's heavily involved in the New England Prison Fellowship Program as a trained volunteer and is recognized as a Colson Fellow. Well, welcome to the show, Rich. It's an honor to have you.
It's a delight, Ted. Thank you for being here. Appreciate
Absolutely. Well, let's just jump right in. What is your approach to personally waking up with a go win the day attitude?
So I've been thinking about that question, and the thing that's been really in my head the last few years is praying more. There's a lot of stuff that I believe can go wrong, Ted, in life, and there's a lot of stuff that can go very well. And I want to focus on the stuff that's going to go good. And when it doesn't go good, I want to be able to respond and react. So prayer for me. So how I've been starting my day recently, it hasn't been this way for a long time, but just recently I've been starting my day by sliding out of bed, literally sliding out of bed and on my knees and thanking God for a night's sleep, sometimes not a good night's sleep, but thank you that I was sleeping and I had a bed. And Lord, whatever day that this brings, may it bring glory to you, and use me as a person who can make a difference in the world today.
Well, and in reading that bio, it's clear that that's working. So keep praying. Things are happening. And I'm excited about the event you've got coming up this week, and we'll talk a little bit more. But you've been in the IT space for over 25 years. So what are some of the challenges that you've overcome, and what keeps you forging ahead?
Yeah, great question, Ted. So there's two I'll mention. One is the keeping in constant update of the changes that are just occurring. For example, cloud services. How do I provide solid cloud services? How do I give people access to what they need, their stuff, be it data, be it a way to communicate. I have one particular client that likes to present themselves in a very, very polished way when they have visitors come to them. So when you walk into their office in downtown Boston, gorgeous views of the city, the Back Bay, Logan Airport, you can see Fenway. Oh, it's just terrific. They want to project a certain image to their customers. So it's on me to be constantly aware of what sort of technologies I can provide them to make them look good.
Cool.
The second one is a little bit more it's more deeper, and it's overcoming loss. And I've won a bunch of good clients over, Core Technologies has, and I've lost a bunch of very good clients. So one of the challenges in me in this IT space is, how do I not necessarily win back those clients, but how do I win other clients? How do I learn from those losses? Do an inventory and evaluation. What things could we have done better? What things could we just not have done? That be it they just want to move in a different direction. So it's those two things, keeping up with technology and providing good deliverable services, as well as coping with the loss of clients.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and losses are hard, and obviously, as we talk about the focus on winning, I appreciate that you acknowledge that we do lose too. And so, how we respond to that is really what changes our trajectory and where we're headed. Well, what's a memorable story that you can share about how you had to personally live out winning the day?
Yeah, good question. This gets back to being, I think before we went on the air, we talked a little bit about stress, and I'll give you two recent examples because they're so fresh to me. One is I have a customer and they're in the printing business. So I was on the manufacturing floor. Long story short, it was kind of stressful because I was with two of the customers. I get a phone call from this guy. We'll call him David.
Okay.
I recognize the name, but I've never spoken to David. David is a pilot. He's a private pilot who flies one of my clients. My client has a jet.
Okay.
So you can imagine. So I'm getting this call from this guy. So I pick up the phone. I excuse myself on the production floor where I'm kind of stressed already
Right.
about providing services for them. So I take the call, and it's actually the owner of the company. He's on a plane. He's flying over North Carolina, going from Boston to Florida. And Rich, we'll call him Joe.
Okay.
Okay. Hi, Joe. You're calling from David's phone, the pilot. He says, yeah, he's flying the plane right now. Could you get him on? Could you get him on our calendaring system? They do Microsoft 365 and with certain permissioning. So we can't give him whole access, but we want read access only. And I said, where's the pilot? He said, oh, he's up front. He's in the. And I said. He said, here, hold on. Let me give you the pilot.
Right.
So he gives the phone over. So I'm talking to the pilot, and I said, who's flying the plane? Because I'm all I'm not panicking, but I'm just curious.
Right.
He said, the co-pilot. They have a pilot and a co-pilot. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. I've never gotten a phone call from a pilot on a jet that's at least 30,000 feet above somewhere North Carolina. I said, "Who's?" So he said, "No, this is a VoIP call," and it's like, and I said, "I'd be happy to. I'll connect with you tonight." So, so dealing with that, putting so the owner, the business owner, very successful man. His fears because he's been asking for this for a while from his people. So anyway, dealing with that. So that was the step. And the second. So that's the second. The second story I want to share with you was very recent. So I have another customer, a wonderful dear customer, and we'll call him Mike.
Okay.
So
I love how you're protecting the names of the innocent.
Mike is a wonderful man. He runs the business. He doesn't own the business, but he manages the business. It's been going for like 55 years now. Anyway, Mike is not the happiest guy. However, he is a nice guy. And I'm, like you, Ted, I'm buoyed by people who are, kind of similar, positive, to us. And, it gives off, those good vibes give off, with each other. They give off, other, good vibes. So anyway, so he's not a guy that has good vibes. And I thought, so he's coming up to me and he wants to talk to me. You can tell. So he's very kind of drone, bland. And I said, yes, Mike. So I didn't give him the positive Rich, treatment. And we had a conversation. He went off and I felt bad about it. Mm-hmm. I really did. I felt, why should I, not that he had a negative, it's just that he's just not always happy. Mm. So I didn't go back. So that there is no great ending to the story, but what it did mean to me was that I do need to step it up better to, as I pray in the morning, to that I truly am glorifying God, that I am a positive person to people, whether people are positive to me. It's a struggle, and that was one good example of being in the IT space that I don't always nail it.
Yeah, sure.
And I'm mindful of that.
Yeah. That's a good thing. Being mindful is important. So we've talked a lot about the professional side of Rich, but let's talk a little bit more about the personal side of Rich.
Yeah.
So tell us more about the Colson Fellows program for living out our faith, and also share more about the Park Street Church's Global Missions Conference that kicks off tomorrow.
Yeah, let me start with the Colson Fellows. Thank you for asking. I'd love to plug the Colson Fellows program. So I'm a recent Colson Fellow graduate, 2020. So this is right when COVID hit. So Colson Fellows is a 10-month course of study, and it's a regional thing. It's throughout the nation, but we meet regionally. So our cohort is in New England,
Okay.
based just outside of Hartford. So we met, a bunch of us, like-minded people who want to develop a Jesus-centered worldview. And people call it a Christian worldview, Jesus-centered, Christ-centered. So what that worldview is, how do we look at life, and how do we do our faith through the lens of what is true, what is truthful, and what is godly, what is God. And we talk about politics, we talk about current events, but we do a lot of reading, we do a lot of webinars. It's very intensive. So I'm sure, like a lot what you're doing in terms of you're trying to gain expertise and certifications, this is something that I don't have anything at the end of my name on this one, but what it prepares me for is having conversations with people in a way that reflects the four quarters of what God has done: creation, the fall of man. We've fallen from that. Redemption, and that is through the blood of Jesus Christ. And the fourth aspect of that is restoration. That God will be restoring for all of humanity, all of his people, his creation, the believers that is, to bring order back to him. So anyway, that's the Colson Fellow. And the last one is, I just want to plug Park Street Church.
Please do.
So parkstreetchurch.org, parkstreetchurch.org, established in 1809. It has a terrific missions program. When I say terrific, so 210 years ago, church was formed. 10 years after that, they set sail from Rose Wharf in Boston to Hawaii.
How'd they do that?
They got on a ship.
I guess they went all
And
the
they
way
went around the Horn of the Cape of whatever that is, and they go the other way. And it took a few months to get there. And we celebrated the 200th anniversary of that. And the church from Hawaii came to us, and anyway, every year we do an annual. It's called the Global Missions Conference. Please look it up. It starts, as Ted said, Friday, tomorrow, November 5th, through the 14th of this month. So, it's open to everyone. It's free.
Wow.
Come. It's virtual. It's in person if you want. So, and I'm moderating a panel on invisible cities. It's focusing on those who are incarcerated, prison, in jails, and also a halfway house for women here in Boston. So we're actually going to have people from South Africa joining us, and there are Park Street Church's missionaries there.
How great. Well, I hope that it is an amazing weekend that sees lots of fruit. So, you've gone through your day. You've won some things, you've lost some things. How do you personally unwind after winning your day?
Well, as you said at the beginning, I love my family. I have four beautiful kids, and I love them all. And I like to often call them. Sometimes to end my day, I'll pull out some old letters, old cards that they've written to me, photos that I'll pull out, and I'll take a picture of it, and I'll send it to them to say thank you. Thank you for this note that you did when you were in grade school, or that you did last week. And even if it's a little scribble, I save everything, and I like to remember that. So I wind down with that. I often text them, and sometimes I do call them. They're busy, kids are busy today, so I do that. I'd say that's probably my emphasis. I do a lot of work still I don't like to work out of the home, but when I do come home, I do have to get online and still do a lot of stuff. So, but I do like to end the day that way, and I like to the same way I started the day by sliding out of bed on my knees. I like before I get in bed, I like to thank God for how the day went, however it went. Be thankful for everything, good and bad.
That's right.
So that's how I
Yeah.
like to unwind.
I think that's a great way to unwind. Well, Rich, again, I appreciate you showing us some of your heart today and sharing your stories and just visiting and taking the time out of your day to be with us. So thank you.
You're welcome.
And on that note, go win the day every day.